So I went a couple months without making videos. I tend to do that sometimes. Seems that my process is involving a phase of external discovery and a phase of internal integration. And they seem to be ebbing and flowing. But I've had a lot of insights over the past few months since I last was making videos consistently, and I'd like to share some of those things. I'm back in my hometown in Virginia. It's been a bit of a culture shock for me. I felt a bit overwhelmed by all of the old energies that I spent many years running away from. And I find myself looking for a place to run away to connect with nature. And this was so much easier on the West. So much easier in the West because in the West, everything is still wild and open. Here it's domesticated and the forest is traumatized, it seems. That's what it feels like when I come out here. I was able to find a nice little patch, beautiful space to make this video. There's a nice little stream running behind me. But as you can see, some construction company just decided to throw their waste back here. And this river, this creek is what once was a creek and now is just a drainage system for suburbia. I was in Walmart last night. Like I said, I'm going through some culture shocks. And I was just really feeling the disconnection. I mean, how many of these people in this part of the world even come out here and look at this? You know, it is tame and it is domesticated, but it still has a little spark, a little spirit of that wildness. And I want to believe that those people still have a little spirit, a little spark of their wildness left in them. But they've lost it. They've lost touch with it. And I feel that at times I have been out of touch with it. You know, I came from this place. I am one of these people. When I was a teenager, I used to go to that same Walmart at like midnight to cause trouble with my friends. I was disconnected. I had lost touch with my wildness. And going out west reconnected me with it. It helped me discover this ancient, primal part of myself. It helped me realize that the forest is truly alive. This isn't just a metaphor. This isn't some mythological superstition. This is real. Every one of these trees is alive. Every one of these root systems are interacting with mycelium, and they're exchanging nutrients. These trees are all a single organism. And in this place, at this time, this organism is very sick. And in other places, the organism is very healthy. And the health of that organism comes from its biodiversity. It comes from its interconnectedness. And I wonder how much better off we as people would be if we were in touch with our interconnectedness, if we use that wildness to expand our diversity and to connect deeper with one another, just like the forest does, just like the trees do. What would civilization look like? Sometimes I think that civilization is just a lost cause, that civilization is, in fact, the problem itself, and that the only way out of this fucked up situation that we've got ourselves into is an end to civilization. And that's not a very happy thing to think about. That's a little bit bleak, you know? Sometimes in my darkest moments, I find myself thinking that a mass plague would be the best thing that could happen for us. But that's not really me. That is what Eckhart Tolle calls the pain body. That is my wounded self. That is my ego. That is my heart lashing out at the injustice that I see all around me. The injustice of people being isolated. People being disconnected from nature. People destroying nature and destroying their own wildness in the process. I was doing some meditations this morning and some sound healing, and I experienced a very clear, oh hey look, there's actually some people out here. That's cool. The kids. There's some kids out here. That's what I used to do when I was a kid. I used to come out here. That's awesome. That makes me happy. Someone is enjoying this forest in this land. There's the universe right there proving to me that there's hope, right? But I was doing some meditation this morning, and I had a very distinct, clear message that touches on what I was discussing in yesterday's video, that there is only two options. You can consume yourself and poison yourself through separation, or you can heal yourself through integration and wholeness. And whether it's within ourselves or within our communities or within our ecosystems, disintegration is descent into hell. And integration towards wholeness, experiencing more wholeness, that is ascent into heaven. And the spiritual path can be simplified to that. The more you move towards wholeness within yourself, the more you move towards wholeness within your ecosystem and within your community, the more you will ascend into heaven. And the more you separate yourself and isolate yourself and experience conflict within yourself, the more disease you will experience, and the more suffering you will experience, and the more you will descend into hell. This universal truth exists on the level of biodiversity, the health of ecosystems. This universal truth exists within communities, and it exists within ourselves, within our hearts and our minds and our belief systems and our subconscious, and even our physical body. If the physical body isn't working together as a single unit, dis-ease is the outcome. All the parts have to be working together as a unit, as a whole being. And if you can bring the mind into its whole being, and the heart into its whole being, and your body into your whole being, and your spirit into its whole being, and you put all of those together into one whole you, one whole human, maybe that's enlightenment. That's certainly what many spiritual paths have been trying to achieve for a long time. And the more unity and wholeness we experience with Source, the easier that process of healing becomes. So when I come down into this forest, I'm going to treat it a little bit differently than I have been. I've been coming down here and I've been thinking about how much I don't want to be here. How much I'd rather be in the wild landscapes of the Rocky Mountains or the Pacific Ocean. And that creates resistance, that creates disconnection, disintegration between me and the land that I am living on at this time. And that descends me further into hell. But if I can come out here and see the spark of wildness that still exists in these trees, that still exists in this earth, if I can connect with that wildness, as faint and as distant as it might be, and myself and the forest, we can heal together. And I can take a step towards wholeness. It's all about unity. All right.